Foam.
You've probably heard of the paleo diet, or maybe you've considered becoming vegetarian yourself. The two eating regimes are virtually opposite in the types of foods being consumed. So which diet is best? Nutritionist Andrea Holwegner joins us in studio to discuss both plans, the pros, the cons. Thanks for coming in this morning.
You bet. And this is highly debated amongst a lot of the clients we see in our nutrition practice because people are really trying to figure out which one's the best for my weight, which one's the best for health. And of course, my goal is always, which one's the best for you from a food philosophy perspective in terms of what you enjoy eating.
So before you delve into paleo, vegetarian, any eating regime, what is the most important thing to consider?
Well, first of all, when we're looking at overall health, there's not one diet that's going to be best. When we look at long-term health, when we look at weight management, when we look at sport performance, there's a really big range in what we know from longer-term research that can be really healthy for you. The best thing to really think about is which one is going to resonate with my food personality.
Ah, so what do you enjoy eating then, right?
You bet.
Okay. If you are opting perhaps to consider a paleo diet, you kind of have a spread here on, I guess it would be our viewers' left-hand side, our right-hand side, and this are basically staples of a paleo diet.
You bet, and we got paleo here, and we've got on the opposite side of the table the vegetarian, and in the middle, of course, we've got where they all agree.
Okay. So there is some middle ground.
There is some middle ground. Fruits and veggies, of course, are going to be the cornerstone of any great healthy eating regime. Of course, we're after that. Specifically for the paleo diet, though, caveman type of style eating regime here. So we've got heavy emphasis on your meats, your poultry, your fish, absolutely no grains, no dairy foods on this particular diet.
Are there pros then to eating this way?
Pros are the protein can be filling from a sustained energy perspective. So a lot of times people find the protein and fat load here are filling. You know, it certainly could be some research that's emerging to show that the paleo diet may not necessarily be harmful.
What's your hesitations?
My hesitation is that I love food. And so when someone says, you know, you can't eat any grains, you can't eat any legumes, we talked about, like, what's so bad about a lentil?
Right. Lentils or beans.
Awesome. Yeah, beans. Those types of things, or a simple potato, yams, those types of things are not permitted on this diet. So I always think about the long-term sustainability there.
You mentioned we've got some middle ground, and then on the opposite side of the spectrum, of course, is a vegetarian diet. What are the benefits to eating a vegetarian diet?
So really very opposite eating style here. So lots of carbohydrates from your grains, your legumes, your lentils, tofus. Very low on the protein end of it. Most of your protein is going to be coming from those nuts and legumes, tofus, that type of thing. The benefits here, we got lots of longer term research on vegetarian diets being really good for both weight management and long-term health. Some of the challenges, though, of course, with the vegetarian diet is when you start to limit some of those enjoyable foods a lot of people grew up with, it can take a lot of adjustment from a cooking perspective to really know how to flavor and enjoy some of those foods. And sometimes people do find they're a little bit hungrier on a vegetarian diet because the protein load is lower.
What's your main takeaway then from this when you're considering, you know, a diet of any extreme?
You know, I'd like people to think about if you're going to cut anything out, what's the reason you're cutting anything out? Because we know, again, from long-term research that you can be healthy following a lot of things. You can lose weight following a lot of things. So while, for example, a paleo diet, something higher protein may initially create weight loss that's faster than a higher carbohydrate diet, what we see over the long term is those results are actually very equivalent when we look at things over the long term. So it's really coming back to your food personality and what might resonate best with you.
I like that. I like everything. So I don't know if I could do either of these. Andrea, thanks for coming in this morning. And if you'd like the latest nutrition information, and healthy recipes, you can head to Andrea's website, healthstandnutrition.com.